Before all of this, I was homeless. Before YouTube, before my first business, the millions of dollars per year, the 20-foot ceilings, I was living out of a van. Before I was on YouTube teaching you guys how to do Airbnb, I was stealing from grocery stores to eat, selling teeth whitening boxes at Walgreens as a way to make cash to get by, and now I have these views. But before this, I was in a bipolar narcissistic relationship because I needed to move in with somebody to survive, and that's where I ended up. And it was that hardship that made me who I am today. If I didn't have to survive, if I didn't have all that pressure from homelessness, I probably would have been too comfortable to do what it takes. I grew up very poor in Wisconsin and then got a really nice sales job making 6 figures selling newspaper subscriptions, and that would have been enough for me. And because I had all this validation-seeking behavior, I could have lived my whole life trying to get that company to love me through all of my work. And they took advantage of me. They used me, and I went with it for the longest time. So I was comfortable, and I needed a way out. So now, armor, way cool, right? So now I started my first business after being homeless in the newspaper industry, basically as an extension of the company that I worked for. And then from there in 2014, I started putting properties on Airbnb, ones I did not own. Check this out. My penthouse has a American Airlines center view. Way cool, right? Now, making this work on Airbnb, I needed to go homeless for this to work. I got evicted in 2009, and if it wasn't for that eviction, I would not have been leasing properties through an LLC. So leasing multiple properties through an LLC made me able to do short-term rentals before there was any lease language saying that you couldn't do it, because as an LLC, subletting wasn't really a thing because there's no occupant on the lease. Really high-level stuff, but I teach that all on this channel for free, as you guys know. So me going homeless and getting evicted made me lease through LLCs so I could live, which gave me the open window to start my Airbnb business. It was that hardship that gave me the opportunity. And by the way, all the artwork in the home is original. All these photos are photos I've taken through my world travels. That one is from a helicopter in Banff. Really awesome trip, by the way. So my success story is messy. It's born of necessity. It's all of these things that don't go the way you want them to go. My life wasn't like, oh, I've got this plan to start this business. I'm just like my father. Look at all this cool stuff. That's not my world. My world had no plan. It was desperate, it was dark, and I did what I had to survive. That effort was what made me successful. No amount of white collar upbringing. So what I'm saying to you guys is if you try hard and you fight for your survival, you're gonna make it. You absolutely will. Let's flip this camera around, get more formal. I'm gonna teach you guys some business tips if you're young, what you can do today to turn your life around. So I was scrolling through TikTok this morning and I had this realization that I'm not living the same life that I used to that made me successful. So I wanted to make this video as a reminder to myself of what it takes to be successful and in the same breath help you guys out at the same time. I wanna give you some timeless tips that will help you become successful no matter what your career path will be, business owner or otherwise. When I was younger, building my first business off the back of homelessness, I had a mental state that I embodied, that I carried all the way through till even just recently, maybe a year ago or 2 years ago, when I started to soften up a little bit because I was no longer fighting for my survival. Everything I started to do was more of an expression of myself. We'll get to that later in this video, I think. But in the very beginning, the key things for my success were, first off, not to be negative and to control my thoughts and to not get distracted, eye on the prize. And this is where the TikTok part comes in, right? To not be negative is good. Negative thoughts will keep you from participating, keep you from trying. That's obvious. But even more subtle than that, if you're distracted, thinking about whatever, filling your brain with whatever else, you don't have your eye on the prize. You don't have your focus on your vision, so you're not gonna hit it. Social media is this great distraction that keeps us from knowing what we want in life, seeing far enough into the future to rudder our ship in that direction. And I've noticed that because I'm a content creator, I can fall into this content trap of consuming content. Usually I'm trying to tell myself it's because I'm trying to study what works and what people are doing, but a lot of times I end up just consuming content for blind reasons, and it's dangerous. And that desperation of being homeless kept me from doing stupid stuff, like scrolling on my phone. The whole concept of discipline or impulse control, basically. And one thing that helped me attain the success that I have today is little successes, little wins, believing in myself. When I was homeless selling teeth whitening boxes for $40 cash, every time I got one of those sales, it was reaffirming that I can be successful, that I can achieve whatever my goals are. Selling newspaper subscriptions for 20 bucks and making a commission and doing a lot of those every day was a way to have a lot of little wins. It was a way to build momentum in life, to have this sense of self-belief or self-efficacy, if we want to get nerdy about it. And it's that momentum that gets you to where you want to be in life. Little daily wins, which creates the power of positive thinking, believing in yourself. Now, I never believed in manifestation or anything like that, nothing woo-woo. But that same concept is what they try to teach you, the theys, try to teach you when it comes to positive affirmations and the law of attraction, which is you have to know it. You have to know in your gut that you're going to be successful. You have to know in your gut that you're going to have that car or that you're going to have the $15,000 per month penthouse. You have to be able to visualize it clearly, expect it as if it's already yours, and kind of exist in that future memory and have that future memory be yours to attain it. If you focus on little wins every day, you'll start to believe in yourself and drive towards that goal instead of shooting yourself down. I have a ton of ideas, businesses I've never started, successes that I don't have because I talked myself out of it. All of the lack of success in my life is because I've talked myself out of it. And that's a key takeaway. One of the best things you can do today, switching topics, to become successful is to master the art of learning. There's so much information on this planet. You're watching this video because you are seeking information and or maybe some inspiration, but you want to learn stuff. And I've taught people how to do Airbnb. That's what I teach. And what's made me successful is I found a way to make that information digestible and available and actionable. Great. I've made a lot of money being a good teacher. But before that, in order to get where I was, I had to become an expert learner. I had to learn to do sales. I had to learn my own accounting. I've had to learn to negotiate really abstract deals. I've had to learn to hire people, train people, manage people, and then of all the skill sets that come with hospitality, housekeeping, guest interactions, revenue management. I self-taught myself a lot of this stuff. The stuff that I wasn't self-taught through experience, I learned on like YouTube. I learned to cook on YouTube. I learned all sorts of stuff on YouTube. I think I got a virus on my computer once because I tried to learn how to tie a necktie and I watched a video teaching me to tie a tie and then my computer got a bug. So yes, master the art of learning, but also make no deliberation between knowing what you need to learn and learning it, or knowing that you need to learn something and finding out what that is. If you realize that you have to learn math to do something, then you just Google how to do math. If you know you need to learn something but don't know what it is, but you know what your goal is, you say, what do I need to know to become this? And just start trudging through the information online, just almost in a militant way, one step at a time. It's the only time my dad has ever given me a compliment, actually. He said to me once when I was driving him somewhere, I can't remember, he said, you know, I'm proud of you. The thing I like most about you is that you decide you want something or you want to do something and you ask yourself, well, what do I need to know to get it done? And then you just go and you learn it. You waste no time in the middle. I think that is one of the biggest things that I had lost over the last couple of years that I'm just trying to get back. That lack of hesitation, that immediate action going, oh, I see a vision of the future I want. What is the path between me and that future scenario? What is the skill sets and knowledge I need? And let me just light that path on fire. Let's just go. A lot of my past 2 years has been softening up, letting other people run my businesses and trying to work through other people with some success, with some failure, but it's taken me out of a state of action. And all of my best successes have been from my states of action. And all of your best successes will come from your action. And eventually you'll get so good at action that your leadership of people will depend on your ability to teach them to take action too. And I think this is something that I lost along the way. All the people that have ever worked for me, the ones that have been successful, have learned from me how to take action, how to act autonomously, and how to succeed in their own right. Take ownership of their life and go. So, future videos, I'm going to teach you more about how to take action. I'll give you the information, I'll give you the path. A lot of it will be short-term rental related because that's who I am, but I'll teach more just general business and life stuff because, you know, the gray in my beard, I think I'm qualified now to talk about life. But let me know what you think, guys. If there's anything you want to learn that I can teach you, put it in the comments. I'll be as helpful as humanly possible. Thank you so much for following me around for a minute today. And as always, I'll see you on the other side.